You close the final page of Neville's book. The house is quiet. The world outside still dark. It's that magical time between 3 and 5 a.m., and something inside you feels different. Most people would simply return to sleep, but you're not most people, are you? You've just finished reading words that have shifted something deep within your consciousness. And this moment, this early morning silence, isn't an interruption to your rest. It's an invitation to something extraordinary. What you may not realize is that finishing Neville's teachings at this hour has placed you in a unique state of receptivity. Your brain is still swimming in theta waves, the same brainwave pattern present during deep meditation. The veil between your conscious and subconscious mind has never been thinner than it is right now. Neville understood this. His books aren't just collections of spiritual ideas. They're instruments of transformation designed to bypass your rational mind and plant seeds directly into your subconscious, the true creator of your reality. When you read his words about imagination as the creative force of the universe, your mind doesn't just understand the concept intellectually. In these early morning hours, you absorb it at a cellular level. It becomes part of you. That's why what I'm about to share with you is so powerful. You see, I've spent years studying not just what Neville taught, but when and how his teachings can be most effectively applied. And I've discovered 3 specific practices that, when performed during this pre-dawn window, can accelerate your manifestation abilities beyond what you might think possible. These aren't complex rituals or elaborate visualizations. They're simple, profound techniques that work with your natural brain states at this special hour. Techniques that allow you to access the same creative power that Neville himself tapped into. The ancient mystics called this time the hour of God, when the noise of the collective consciousness is at its quietest and your individual connection to the infinite is at its strongest. You reading this book at this hour wasn't coincidence. It was preparation. Your consciousness is primed. Your subconscious is receptive. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to use this sacred window of opportunity to transform not just your morning, but your entire life. Are you ready to discover what's truly possible when you apply Neville's most powerful teachings during the most powerful hours of the day? Let's begin with what might be Neville's most revolutionary idea. Your imagination is not some frivolous mental faculty for daydreaming. It is the very creative power of the universe expressing itself through you. Neville didn't see imagination as mere fantasy. He recognized it as the foundation of all human experience. Here's how to work with this principle. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and take several deep breaths. Now, instead of trying to visualize something far in the future, imagine a scene that would imply your desire has already been fulfilled. If you desire a new career, imagine a friend congratulating you on your success in that field. Feel their hand shaking yours. Hear their words of praise. Notice the environment around you, the sounds, the smells, the feeling of accomplishment in your body. Make this imaginal scene as vivid and detailed as possible. What do you see? What do you hear? What emotions are you feeling? Is there a specific conversation happening? Are you in a particular location? The more sensory detail you can incorporate, the more real this becomes to your subconscious mind. Now, here's the crucial element that many miss. While engaging in this imaginal act, you must generate the feeling of your wish fulfilled. It's not enough to just see the mental picture. You must emotionally feel as if what you desire has already happened. This emotional component is what impresses the subconscious mind and begins the process of manifestation. Neville taught that this isn't magical thinking or wishful hoping. It's working with the fundamental nature of consciousness itself. Your consciousness is the only reality, and everything you perceive as out there is simply consciousness externalized. By changing the contents of your consciousness through deliberate imagination, you inevitably change what materializes in your physical experience. Remember, consistency is key here. You wouldn't exercise once and expect a transformed physique, would you? The same principle applies with your imaginal work. This practice needs to become part of your daily routine until the feeling of your wish fulfilled becomes your natural state of being. The best time to practice this imaginative work is right before sleep. As you're drifting off, your conscious mind's resistance is lower, allowing these impressions to sink deeper into your subconscious. In that drowsy state between wakefulness and sleep, impress upon your mind the reality of your desire fulfilled. Fall asleep in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and let your subconscious mind work while you rest. Now let's explore the second fundamental principle in Neville's teaching, the law of assumption. This isn't about positive thinking or mere affirmations. It's about a complete shift in your state of being. The law of assumption states that if you assume something to be true and persist in that assumption, it will harden into fact in your physical reality. This goes beyond just thinking about what you want. It's about embodying the state of already having it. It's about living from the end result. Here's how to practice the law of assumption. Throughout your day, consciously assume the feeling of being the person who already has what you desire. If you desire financial abundance, how would you carry yourself if you were already financially free? How would you speak? What thoughts would occupy your mind? What kind of posture would you have? How would you interact with others? Begin to move through your day from this assumed state. When you wake up in the morning, before your feet touch the floor, remind yourself of who you truly are, the version of yourself who already has what you're desiring. Feel gratitude for it as if it's already yours. This isn't about pretending or faking it until you make it. It's a deeper psychological and spiritual process of consciously choosing your state of being. As Neville would say, you must be before you can do, and do before you can have. When you find yourself slipping back into old patterns of thinking or feeling that contradict your desire, gently recognize it without judgment, and then deliberately return to your assumed state. This practice of mental and emotional discipline is transformative. The power of assumption isn't just about material acquisition. It applies to every aspect of your life, your relationships, your health, your inner peace, your spiritual understanding. Whatever state you consistently assume eventually finds expression in your outer world. Notice how this approach differs from conventional goal setting or visualization. You're not working towards something in the future. You're claiming it as already yours in consciousness. This subtle shift makes all the difference because the outer world must conform to your inner assumptions about reality. The third principle takes Neville's teaching to an even more profound level. Everyone in your experience is you pushed out. This doesn't mean other people don't exist or don't have their own consciousness. Rather, it means that your experience of others is inseparable from your own consciousness. How you see others, how they behave toward you, how they appear in your reality, all of this is a reflection of your assumptions about them and about yourself. This concept can be challenging to grasp at first, but its implications are life-changing. Here's how to work with this principle. Identify a relationship in your life that you'd like to improve. Instead of trying to change the other person's behavior directly, work on changing your conception of them in your own consciousness. Sit quietly and imagine interacting with this person in a way that reflects your desired relationship. Hear them saying what you want to hear. See them behaving as you wish they would behave. Feel the emotions of having this harmonious relationship. The key here is to persist in this new conception, regardless of any contradictory evidence in your current physical reality. Your current reality is only the manifestation of past assumptions and beliefs. As you maintain your new assumption about the person, their behavior toward you will begin to shift, sometimes in ways that seem miraculous. This principle extends beyond personal relationships to all of humanity. How you experience the collective, whether you see the world as threatening or supportive, whether you perceive others as trustworthy or deceitful, is a reflection of your own inner states. By taking responsibility for your assumptions about others, you gain the power to transform your entire social reality. When you genuinely see others as inherently good, supportive, and loving, your experiences will inevitably shift to match this assumption. This isn't about manipulation or control. It's about recognizing the creative power of your consciousness and using it responsibly. It's about understanding that love is not something to be pursued outside yourself, but expressed from within. Now let's bring these three principles together into a cohesive practice. Your imagination creates reality, you become what you assume yourself to be, and everyone in your reality reflects your own consciousness. Imagine starting your day with this understanding. Instead of reacting to circumstances as they appear, You consciously choose the state from which you'll operate. You engage your imagination not in idle fantasy, but in the conscious creation of your experience. You assume the state of your wish fulfilled, and you see others through the lens of that fulfilled state. By the time the rest of the world is starting their day, you've already established the consciousness from which your day will unfold. You're not at the mercy of external events. You're the author of your experience. And here's something remarkable that happens as you continue this practice. Synchronicities begin to appear. Opportunities arise that perfectly align with your desires. People show up who can help you achieve your goals. Circumstances arrange themselves in ways that support your assumption. This isn't magic or coincidence. It's the natural consequence of working with the true nature of reality as Neville understood it. When you align your consciousness with what you desire, the entire universe conspires to express that consciousness in tangible form. But consistency is crucial. This isn't about trying these principles once or twice and then giving up when immediate results don't materialize. It's about a fundamental shift in how you relate to yourself and the world. Transformation isn't always comfortable. There will be days when your old patterns of thinking and feeling assert themselves strongly. There will be times when the physical evidence seems to contradict what you're assuming to be true. These are the moments when your practice is most important, when you have the opportunity to demonstrate your commitment to the new state of consciousness you're cultivating. When you persistently align your imagination, assumptions, and perceptions with your desires, regardless of appearances, you set in motion forces that must ultimately express themselves in your physical reality. This is the promise of Neville's teaching, not as a theoretical concept, but as a lived experience. So here's my invitation to you. The next time you find yourself worrying about a situation or feeling stuck in unwanted circumstances, pause. Remember that you are not at the mercy of external reality. You are its creator. Take a few moments to shift into the consciousness of your wish fulfilled. Feel it as real. Assume it as already accomplished. See others through the lens of this fulfilled state. Do this consistently for a week, for a month, for a year. Notice how your experience begins to transform. Pay attention to the subtle shifts in how others respond to you, how opportunities present themselves, how solutions appear where once there were only problems. Remember, this isn't about forcing or struggling or making things happen through sheer willpower. It's about aligning your consciousness with what you desire and then allowing it to unfold naturally. It's about trusting the creative process that Neville so brilliantly illuminated. You already possess everything you need to create the life you desire. The power has always been within you. Neville's teachings are simply pointing you back to your own divine nature, to the infinite creative potential that is your birthright. So embrace these principles, test them in your own experience. Discover for yourself the truth that has transformed countless lives, that the answers you seek, the fulfillment you desire, the love you long for, it's all already within you, waiting to be expressed through the power of your own wonderful human imagination. The journey begins now with your next thought, your next feeling, your next assumption. Will you accept the invitation? Will you discover the answers within? The choice is yours, and I believe in your power to consciously create a life of wonder and fulfillment. The time for transformation is now. Are you ready?